KC9VKV and 9GTO.
N9GTO, Lou, my Elmer has joined us. Hello, sir.
Yeah, how does my audio sound now? Is it doing better now?
Could use a little bit more on the bottom side. Roger, Roger?
Oh, you want the bottom. Okay, I can give you the bottom. It's not a problem. Is that better right there?
That's headed in the right direction. What you been up to, sir?
Oh, everybody I can and the good ones twice, over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what radio are you running?
I'm running the Anon 8000.
Roger. That's the latest version, isn't it?
No, they don't make this one anymore. They stopped making the 200-watt versions.
Ah, Roger, Roger. Now, how much of that is computer and how much of it is, mechanical, physical thing?
It's all computer. It's everything computer, over.
Well, now, you got to have something to kick the signal on down there to 200 watts, Roger.
It's got a PA board and everything else. The computer takes over all the knobs. That's what the computer takes. It puts the knobs on the screen, and then you've got the big PA board and everything. That's basically it. It just takes the front of a radio off and puts it on a screen.
Roger. Now, let's see. What was that video again? Let me get a note of that.
The Anon 8000 DLE. They stopped making this version. They're making other ones now, but they stopped making this version here a while back, over.
Roger that. Well, and what do you think about it?
I love it. I think it's great.
Roger, Roger. How does it differ from other radios that you've run in the past?
Easy to use, open share software on the, where the software runs it. It's open source. People are really taking a good job of taking care of it. I love it.
Roger, Roger. And so you're doing 200 watts?
No, I'm running the SB1000, and I'm only putting about 100 watts into it and getting about 600 out. I don't know about my antenna system. My antenna system has got a wad of weeds growed up on it, and I think it's hindering my ability to do something. I've got 4 antenna systems, and I need to identify them and get them straightened out. This one here is giving me the best signal on you, so I'm ready to rock and roll right here, over.
Yes, sir. Well, it's sounding good. Let me check. I've got a Kentucky SDR that I'm just love to bring up and hear what you sound like down in Lexington. Okay, there we go. Come back and let me listen to you in Lexington.
All right, Jimmy, what do I sound like in Lexington compared to you, over?
Well, I'm a little bit louder, but, all things considered, let me go to Milford and see what we do there.
You're going to be a little bit louder.
Or maybe down in Georgia. Let me see what we got down in Georgia. Hello, 1, 2, 3, SDR in Georgia. Yeah. Just checking my SDRs. I'm just curious how that stacks up. Our proximities being so close, Roger.
Roger. Well, you've perfected your station. I have not perfected mine. I've kind of let it get just a little bit disabled, over.
Yes, sir. I understand that, and I'm, just trying to, get along here. Sometimes I feel like this thing is, I've got a checklist now that's about 2 feet long, like an airplane pilot before the net starts, about being able to make sure this is on and that's on, and I'm still trying to keep the fun of it all, Roger.
Oh, I totally understand. That's when I say it stopped being fun to me when I had a 4-mile checkbook. Going through the checkbook to keep from doing something wrong. You have to go through page 1, page 2, or page 3, kind of like a setup. You're right. It's like an aviator's checklist. Oh boy, it gets pretty rough when it does that, Jim. I like it to keep it simple. And right now it's pretty simple for me. I've got a thumb switch which keys up everything, and the whole 9 yards is all sequential. And when I'm done, I just hit that thumb switch, and clump she goes.
Roger. Well, your dynamic range looks to be about 3 dB, so that's right on track. It means your average percent of peak modulation is somewhere between 80 and 85%, so it's very fat. And your audio curve is very articulated. So, gosh, you're in good shape, Roger.
Yeah, but I got vines growing on my vertical. I got vines growing on my long wire. I got vines growing everywhere. I got to get those vines off all these antennas. They're hindering the get out and go. Over.
Roger, I was just looking out. I've got those 3 vertical magnetic loop antennas, and I've got some tall weeds around those. And man, those magnetic loops are just super critical to things that go bump in the night. They don't like anything around them. They're very, very very challenged by things that shouldn't be there, and they love to be in the clear. And they're capable of very low SWR. It's just a matter of keeping them there, because they're so critical, and little things do make a difference. Just like moisture might shift the resonant tune frequency of that vertical magnetic loop, off from. I try to keep them right at 0.01, 0.05, between that and 1, somewhere in there. But they are very sensitive to change. And mine, it is that I have cutaways outside that I have to take my antenna tuner outside and grab one of them in a breakaway situation and go to the antenna specific and tune it that way. I've got actually I'm using cat litter boxes as the weatherproof control area, and I have a plunger that comes through that, and it's a PVC pipe with a T on the end of it. And you have to be about 2 feet away from the loop antenna to keep from detuning it just when you reach to tune it. So this sticks out probably about a foot and a half or so out of the weather containment area, and with a T on the end, and you just lightly tune it back and forth, and you can see it big time on the antenna tuner. Roger?
Jim, are you telling me you have a shithouse mechanical device tied to your magnetic loop? Over?
I do that. It's empty. And this is it's not the food part. It is the other part there, but it's the coming in part, not the going out part of that. Roger.
Well, I understand that, but it is empty. But you're using a shit house. You're basically using an outhouse for your magnetic tuning device, so that you can stand 2 feet away from it to tune it with your SWR bridge. And by the way, how is your SWR bridge working?
It's working excellently, sir. It's one of the greater things that we have worked out that I now possess. And there's another thing to that. A lot of folks don't realize that that SWR bridge and that SWR analysis bridge is actually transmitting a signal. It's not a passive device as such. It's actually transmitting a signal on the frequency that you're working on. So you can actually put a little stub of wire in there, depending, and set it out somewhere on a particular frequency, and then tune things to that and use it as a test transmitter. Roger?
Oh, yeah. I've done that many a times. Always make sure you put the dummy load in. I think it's got a dummy load built in it. I really do. I think it's got dummy load built in it. But I normally use a 50 ohm resistor and stick it in there in a PL259 and stick a piece of wire out there about 8-10 inches long. That way I got a 50 ohm, and I stick it in there just for the heck of it. I know it attenuates the signal some, but then that way you've got double protection on it. I'm not sure if it's protected or not. It says highest WR when it comes on with that wire in there, but with the 50 ohm load, it calms it back down. So I've got one over here I want you to take a look at. I want you to compare it to yours and see let's just say it got dropped, and I'm not sure if it's accurate anymore or if it needs to go back. I've got a new one that's replacing it, but this one here might be good just as a backup, just in case something goes wrong. But I definitely need to let you take a look at it and see what you think about it, if it's worth healing over.
Oh, roger that. Well, gosh, the thing is, if you go through the bands and all the signals appear to be as identified on that band selector, the frequency selector, if all that works, and if you run it as a normal analysis device, and you can make it work at, say, I don't know, 14 megahertz, or maybe even down to 7, round through there. If everything works to about mid-scale, nominal, I would say it's probably all right, provided that it's working into, maybe you could just make it work into, that pure resistive load, Roger.
Yeah, it like I said, batteries are dead in it now. I was going to put a dummy load on it and check it, and but I've got one over here now that's done got me spoilt. So I've got the antenna expert from where is it? We're at war. We're helping them fight a war. They make them over there, and like I said, it spoilt me to death using the new analyzer. Once you see it, you see how it works. And then you can also hook it up to a computer. You can see where the dips are on every band, and what's good, what's bad, and what's tunable, what's not tunable. You can see all kinds of stuff. It's amazing how the thing works. But it is absolutely awesome. And then it's got a beautiful SWR meter that tells you the gain and the loss of the coax, the whole 9 yards. So it's very, very neat device. And so I'm spoiled to death with the new one. So the old one is not that. We'll just have to take the batteries out of it and put it on a shelf for down the road.
Yes, I was going to suggest take those batteries out for sure, because they sure can make a mess of things over a period of time that you're not using it, or you forget about using it or don't need it, and those batteries will have a tendency to leak. And therein lies a big problem if you don't catch it before it leaks all over the place, Roger.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, it's not the best of the world, but no, I want you to compare the analyzer that I have against the one you have compared in the field. If you were out there doing something and you were able to compare it and say, okay, Lou, this analyzer here, it says that just get it. It's a VHF. It's almost identical to your analyzer. So, but I'm glad that yours is still working, and it's giving you a lot of good service. It means a lot to me. So it's definitely helped your station out. Your station is remarkable, Jim. You have, unbelievable. Not only did you go to school on Saturday, but you stayed all day, Jimmy.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I would use that one and check it out on double-checking the tuned status of the vertical magnetic loop antennas. That's probably the most critical situation that you can get there. And just, you got to really be in that notch. You got to really be in the frequency that the vertical dipole is tuned for, because if you're off just a little bit, and your SWR will start coming up pretty pretty fast. So it's a very, very, very high Q circuit. And so if I get the both same readings out of both analyzers, yours is dead on, Roger.
Yeah, there's a show on YouTube I watch, Amos and Moses or something like that. It's a sitcom kind of comedy, and it's pretty damn awesome. Kind of reminds me of You and Me and You, and I'll have to send you a link to it. There's about 25 shows in the 1950s, and it talks about Andy Brown and George Stevenson. And I get on there and I have a blast watching the most shows. Two black guys seeing who can put the screws to each other.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. They're young, about 25 or so, Roger?
What do you mean, 25 shows?
No, 25 years old.
Oh, no, these guys are in their 50s. Hell, they look like they're 70. George Stevens, he died right after these shows were done. But he was in Broadville and stuff back in the 20s, 30s, and born in the 1800s. But he died in 59, I believe. Died broke, he said.
Roger. Well, I know how that is.
Well, you're having a good time on here, and I don't want to take away. Let me pause for the calls and see if you can get somebody else to want to tune their radio up.
Yes, sir. This is KC9VKV Friday afternoon, Qso-Vlog net. If anybody has a radio they want to check out, give me a shout.
Go back to the Jim and Lou show.
Yes, sir. Well, that SWR analysis machine has really been very nice, and being packaged in that Neumann mic box, it's just beautiful. It's all not sponge covered, but it's got a nice little soft lining inside the Neumann box that meter just rides in perfectly. I've got all the batteries dumped out of it. I've got the AC jobber in there, and I figured out I think it is let's see. I think you have one of the processor buttons pushed in when you turn it on, and that will keep it on, and it won't go off like every 3 or 4 minutes, Roger. It'll stay on for as long as you want it on, Roger.
Yeah, it'll stay on. As long as you put power to it, it'll stay on. There's no doubt about that. Like I said, I was just wondering to see if this thing here had a malfunction in the junction. Like I said, it was dropped, and it didn't damage anything, I don't think, but I'm getting some readings that the other one gives you a solid reading, and this one here, I don't know. I'm not really sure if it's me. The new one has just made everything so much easier, and I'm getting good results out of it, and I'm finding out that the results of some antennas are better read by the new one. But like I said, I'm down to 4 antennas right now, and I've got to get more up in this fall. I'm going to go up with a G5 RV. I don't know why. Something just wants me to go up with. It's 51 feet each way, and it's got 30 feet of ladder line, and I'm going to experiment with the G5 RV for once in my life. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, to each his own. I would just love to see what the efficiency relationship would be between that and a resonant tuned dipole antenna. You'll have to be running through a SWR tuner, Roger.
Boy, did I beat that in your head. A resonant tuned dipole. I think I must have beat that in your head. 468 divided by the frequency. Cut it in half. Yada, yada, yada. I think I did my Elmer's job, because those are magic words to my ears. And I'm hearing something that I used to tote about. Yeah, I'd like to compare the G5 RV against a standard 468 divided by the frequency dipole. Over.
Yes, sir. Well, I've said many a time that a lot of situations, a lot of my stations that are running 100 watts are I'm not receiving very well. And I am running 4 internet SDR receivers, actually 5, 4 of them fixed, and then one that is a hocus pocus internet SDR receiver, which covers 50 different SDR locations in 20 states in the in the eastern part of the United States. And when I get a station that I cannot copy out of that, and I'm considering that if somebody is running 100 watts in the eastern part of the United States, they should be an S5 to S9 somewhere. Somebody running 100 watts in the eastern part of the United States should be S5 to S9 somewhere. If they're an S1 everywhere, they're just not getting out. So I would suggest trying a new antenna system. They're easy to build, and that would be the resonant tuned dipole antenna. And just for kicks, leave your old antenna up and put you an AV switch between them so you can compare where you were to where you are with that dipole antenna, and you'll be amazed at the difference of receive, and usually the intensity of the reception indicates the intensity of transmit will be in the same bag. So if you're not receiving somebody well on one antenna and you go to the other antenna and you're receiving them extremely well or whatever, then you can assume that now your signal to them has improved probably as much as their signal to you. Roger?
Roger. Well, I do want to let you know that we have several thousand feet of that RG6, all copper, no aluminum shield, all copper, and center conductor, about an 18 gauge. So to let you know, we have several thousand feet on rows that I've acquired. So if you do decide to make new antennas, and that's what I'm going to use mine, it's orange. If you don't mind the orange color, and I do have some black left. I think I got 2 rows of the black at 1,000-foot rows of the black left. But I'm going to use the orange, and I'm going to make my dipoles out of that as well. Over.
Roger. Now, keep in mind that the width of the element of your antenna determines the Q of it. The higher the Q, the higher the gain. I'm using like about 6 strand clothesline galvanized steel for my antennas. But I think my Q is extremely high because of my diameter width of the element is pretty small. Roger?
Oh yeah. If you go with the broader the antenna, the higher the Q, the broader you'll be able to you'll, instead of 100 kilocycles, you can go 200 kilocycles, and that kind of robs you of a little bit of efficiency. So, but we have had a lot of fun in the past. I'm not sure what you're using now, but in the past, I've sent you home with a whole lot of 75 ohm coax. Over.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to think. I think I have one antenna. My 80 meter resonant dipole is with that. The rest of them are, what I said before there, and they're pretty good. The tuning technique is that I'm not running any transformers, so all these antennas are unbalanced. And in tuning them, I'm using the ground side to tune the SWR and the high side to keep bringing it back onto frequency. So we keep going back and forth like that to pretty soon the SWR is like 0.05 at the resonant frequency of exactly where I'm looking for. Roger?
Oh yeah, I understand. Well, again, you've got your inductance, capacitance, reactance, and you got 3 different places you got to be at one time. And with that, you can play around with tuning it that way. I myself, an antenna being the antenna itself, it is what was I going to say? Yeah, the antenna itself is matched. So if you've got 2 matched lobes of antenna, say you've got 2 wires 33 feet long, that is a balanced antenna. And then you've got the unbalanced coax going to it. That's why you put the choke up there to keep the RF from coming back down. Over.
Roger, that's one thing, but also the terrain over which the elements run also has a great deal of influence on disturbing the balance between the one and the other. Like this 80-meter dipole that I once had, I had the top of the high side going up into about an 80-foot pine tree, which was really neat. The only problem was I could never, ever get the SWR down to, it was always like a 2 or 1.8 or something like that. And I would try everything I knew to get the SWR down, and nothing really worked. And, this would be a kind of a thing where we'd go along for a couple of months, and then I would pick a day and I'd say, I'm going to go out there and get this 80-meter dipole in shape, and I'm going to get that SWR down to nothing. And I go up on the roof and up on the roof and up on the roof and up on the roof, and I would try everything, and I still couldn't get that SWR down. And so one time I was at the end of my wits, and I was using little tie wraps to bend. You never want to cut an antenna wire. You want to bend them back on themselves. So I was bending it back on itself and using a tie wrap to hold it back, and all of a sudden one slipped, and I lost my top position in this pine tree, 60-foot pine tree. And I was devastated. I was saying, oh my, what am I going to do now? Well, the answer is go to the limb that you can get it to, and the only limb I could get it to at the time was this limb, first up off the ground. It was about 30 feet, and I went to that limb, and all of a sudden my SWR was gone. I was down to 0.05 just by going to this lower limb, which indicates that there was a different relationship to ground between the one element and the other. As far as the one half of the dipole was a sloper, and the other side was pretty much horizontal. So when I made both halves horizontal, that SWR went away. Roger, Roger?
Oh, yeah, that's another way of doing it. You can take an inverted V and roll it up and down on a pulley, and that's how you adjust your ohms, your 50 ohms and your SWR. You can, depending on the depth of the earth, ground, conductivity, everything around it that bothers the antenna, you can sit there and run that weed eater string up and down on that pulley, or whatever you got to use, rope, whatever. I use weed eater string for everything, 091, by the way, for those who are listening and wondering how they do it. It lasts about 5 years and everything's all. I lost my big tree out back. It blew over. Man, it sounded like a bulldozer went through the house, but the big tree blew over, roots and all, just out of nowhere. I lost my big tree out back, so I'm sitting here in compromised antenna hell right now. I don't have I'm busted, disgusted, and can't be trusted when it comes to antennas, Jimmy.
Yes, sir. Well, if you can make it 30 foot, if you can get 30-foot height, that's all you need, man. You can, that's neat because you can pick up some ground reflection and help you go skyborne, and that's 30 feet's all you need. I hear talk to folks that are 70, 80, 90 feet, and I know they're serious about their stuff. When you get up to 80, 90 feet, they're pretty serious about getting out, on HF. 80 feet up in the air on HF is, I think, a kind of an overkill, but I would just be glad to get to 30 feet above ground on the, vertical dipole antenna, tuned dipole antenna, Roger.
Jimmy, I have 500 feet of brand new coax over here. I don't know who makes it. I know I don't like it. It's stiff coax. but it's got that foil inside there, and man, you got to be patient getting that stuff away and doing that, putting the ends on it and everything. I got a brand new 500-foot roll of coax over here that I absolutely want to throw in the garbage. So I'll hold on to it for a while because I know I'm planting a seed. See, I'm doing this purposely. I'm planting a seed for the Jim Ferguson Vlog to come alive and say, hey, Lou, I think I need some more coax.
Roger, Roger. Well, I have been tempted to construct another tuned dipole that runs, if my other one runs a certain way, then I want this one to run opposite from parallel. So I can get two different expressions diabolically opposed 90 degrees to the other and have a A-B switch and just play with that. Now, like I say, there's nothing better than the right antenna at the right place. And one of those magnetic loop antennas I've been using just as I've got one at 0 degrees, one at 90 degrees, and the third one I've been using as on noise. And I'm just looking at local noise, and I rotate it around to just find the null on local noise, and I can get that signal down 20 dB. And I don't have a lot of noise, but with that antenna, that vertical loop antenna, I can bring that around and just see that noise level come down and then come up the other side. So and then I go back and I find my absolute null point on noise. And I'm realizing that my null point is more sensitive than my forward gain point. So I may not be in absolute perfect relationship to the signal coming in at random, but I am in perfect tune to the ambient noise level locally. And you take a 20 dB out of your noise signal, and you got a pretty good signal there, Roger.
Oh my God, yes, without a doubt. But by the way, how are you for hardline? And did you know that we have a special stash of like 1.5" or 1 7/8"? It's real big, and it's really good for a loop. Did you know we had a big stash of that hidden somewhere?
No, I didn't. I thought I coveted most of that, of what you had last time. That's how I built my three 10-foot vertical magnetic loops, was from the stash of stuff that you had last time. Roger, Roger?
Well, we've got more. We've got more. And, yeah, it's going to be I have to put it in the back of the truck and bring it to you if I got the approval from the great one. I don't want to. Teresa's got cameras watching all points of entry there. So just in case the UPS man tries it with we try to let the wives not know what's going on. That'll be another day. Woo! Whoa! The life and times of Jim Ferguson and Lou Hinkle, N9GTO with KC9VKV for the license purposes only, to let the people know who we are. Jim, I'm going to take a standby, and you try another talk situation you got out there and see if you can help somebody out with their audio. I'm going to sit here in this chair and listen. Give it a try.
Roger. Let me get back on air here. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, not nut. KC9VKV network, Qso-Vlog network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Give me a shout.
There you go.
I didn't copy that. I've got trash up on my PA SDR. Let me go back to my local antenna and see what I got. Is there a station calling?
Calling?
Lou, did you hear somebody?
thought I heard something, but I didn't hear it.
There's a European calling you.
European station, gosh, why don't you give me about 15 seconds of something, and let me see if I can find you there, Sir Roger.
If I can find you there, Sir Roger.
Well, I don't hear him or see him there. I get a lot of trash right now out of Pennsylvania. I'm not sure what that is.